Freddie Williams from Soul 92 Jams, Joy in the Morning. And when I'm in town, I watch Lady J.
What's up, North Kakalaki? Yeah, it's time. Come on, let's get it. Yeah, Lady J's Montage is the show to watch for your mom and the children and the pops, giving life to communities. In communities, we need more unity. Sit back, relax, and take a look. Give me 28 minutes and you'll be hooked. Lady J's Montage. Lady J.
Anthony Jackson of the world famous Harlem Globetrotters, and I have an important message for you guys out there. Stay in school, keep your grades up, and stay out of trouble. And also, listen to my girl Lady J. Don't just be good, be great.
Everybody, this is Lady J of Lady J's Montage, and my guest tonight is Mr. Roosevelt Etheridge. He is the master of marketing. Thank you for being here this evening.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so elated that you would choose me out of so many talented and great people. I'm so humbled that I've been chosen to be sitting right beside Lady J, the one and only herself.
Oh my goodness, aren't you kind? You have so much going on. You're a pastor, you're a man of God. And I know that firsthand because of the way you treat people and the way that you give messages. You have a radio show going on. You have books. Just enlighten us about you.
Well, I'm blessed because there are a lot of things that are going on right now. The book is Navigating from a Broken Place, and that has gone around the world. And I'll be in Italy in May. I'm sharing some of that. Also, I've been on multiple radio stations just this week, and that's why I'm honored that you would choose me just this week. I was on a radio show out in Los Angeles. I was in Fayetteville and Laurinburg just this week. So there's a lot of things that are going on, and out of all of that, I just enjoy administering the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I'm just humbled. Great. I'm just humbled. And, you know, I just believe in social activism, and I believe that our communities need to come together, and as we do that, we'll reciprocate the love of Jesus Christ throughout to all men.
That's great. Now, would you share with us the contents of your book? What are some things that you talk about in your book that's going worldwide, that is going to be a New York national bestseller? Yes, with the help of you, and we're going to show you that book in just a few minutes. But just tell us about it so we can get energized with the messages that you have within your book.
Oh my God. This book, inside this book you have what is a God's man. I talk about the difference between a God's man and a man of God. And I believe that the man of God is an image that we've created within the church. And that image is typically a man that wears a collar, a robe, or a suit. But a God's man could be the man behind the counter or under your car. And he's the type of man that he loves you, and God is the center of his heart. And he puts his life not only on the line, but he brings God into his life to protect the woman that he loves. And that God's man is different. I also talk about what is sexiness. And I argue the idea between European understanding of fashion versus who we are as people. So in a woman's context, European will have every woman trying to get back down to a size 8, 9, or probably 7.5. But when you understand where beauty begins on the inside, the reality is that you can have a large frame but still be sexy. And if you don't know, if you don't know, especially us as men, if we don't understand that, we'll be trying to look for women that are made up rather than women that are who they are. So we have a hard time understanding and just learning those differentials. I also talk about how to support a strong woman. So there are many great women in this world, and many of them are looking for strong men beside them, but there are many men that just don't have the maturity to stand beside a strong woman. And some of those things is, once you find a strong woman, there's no need to compete, because if you make her your queen, she'll always make room for a king.
Oh wow, I love that. That sounds like it needs to be on a t-shirt. How about that?
You're
in the marketing thing about the pencils and all of those other things that go with it. And also, are you able to travel and have conferences, and what kind of things have you done in those areas? Conferences or workshops, those kinds of things, because what you're doing is so great, you know, books are great and all of that, but to see you and your presence and your deliverance is like the icing on the cake. So how can we be a part of that?
Well, I do relationship conferences, and one of the things that I like the most, I do what we call book parties. So you host a party, and you invite your guests, and we come in and we just have a casual conversation about relationship. I did one yesterday, and it was so enriching, where we talk about love as well as you can ask questions, and I give insight based on things that are in the book as well as things that's going on in life. So we are moving, and one of the other things that we are doing is conference call. I have a conference line where people around the world, they'll say, well, Pastor Rowe, I have this question. And we'll turn the question into a conference call. And there are people around, there might be somebody that you know that have been on a conference call with me. And we'll get on the conference line and we just handle those questions. And we do that, Lady J, because it takes more than giving God a shout and a praise in order to grow as a Christian. It takes something a little more than just having Bible study only to grow as a Christian. I believe that some of our greatest growth comes through dialogue and discussion.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yes.
You never know until you ask the questions. You know, one thing with my teaching field, I found that, you know, other people have the same questions that you do. It takes courage to ask those questions, and that's when you become knowledgeable and you feel you've grown and you have a better understanding when you ask those questions.
Yes.
What is the most controversial question that you've had asked in one of these phone conferences?
Woo!
Is it PG?
Woo! Oh my Lord! One of the questions I can remember recently is, what do you do when you don't love the person, or how do you trust a person that you don't love?
Oh wow!
That was one of the most challenging ones recently, and my response was, my question to them was, well, do you really love? Because the reality is, if you're saying that you love a person but you can't trust them, the Bible will say, and I'm not preaching here, but I just have to tell you what the Bible says.
Okay,
It says
preach,
that,
it's okay. We can
says,
do that.
The Bible says that love hides a multitude of fault, and not only that, love is forgiving. And if you're saying that you can't trust, then maybe you have fallen out of love, and you should question, are you in love, or do you have a general love for that person? So that, as well as how to add spice to the bedroom.
Okay.
What is permissible and what is not. That's been some of the most controversial things that I've been asked recently.
Okay. We're going to go back to this fantastic book here that you all must get a copy of. And there's a section in here that talks about a woman's way. And I want you to elaborate just a little bit. I want you to have little snippets of what's going on here,
Okay.
because, you know, I want people to buy this book because I know you have some good advice.
Oh,
and
bless
so a woman's way is?
Now, a woman's way, it's not controversial, but what happens with us as men, sometimes we don't understand the nature of women, so it creates division as well as confrontation within the relationship. And a woman's way, she can be stern but soft. And understand that her sternness doesn't mean that she doesn't love you, but her sternness means that she's probably seen weaknesses in certain areas of the familial sect or just within the relationship, and she's pulling up her strength to bring stability within the relationship or the situation. And there's no need to become jealous or envious of a woman's strength, because that strength is there to stabilize and to help. So a woman's way is not that way that we've been taught from the ghetto, as well as being bossy, being prideful, being self-centered, no, that is not a woman's way. But a woman's way is to be given a foundation to where she's able to be womanized, if I can put that in a term, and that help her to understand her beauty, because every woman will not wear MAC. every woman will not wear Mary Kay, and 6-inch heels don't mean that she's beautiful.
All right now.
So a woman's way is for her to understand and to be embraced that it's okay to be who you are, because she's just as sexy in 6 inches as she is in flats. And
right.
if the man, if you misunderstand that, he'll be trying to somewhat orchestrate or want to, he'll desire having a woman that is made up rather than a woman that is honest.
Okay, so he has to have some compromise within himself and some compassion and understanding that she's just doing herself. She's just, she's being who she is.
Lady
And
J,
that would be something to be appreciated instead of trying to be something that you're not.
look, Lady J, Kevin Hart said, "Do you?
Do you?
You might as well just do you." See, the thing that I love is that in Proverbs he says that if you make a woman a queen, she'll make her man known in the gates. But what happens with a woman's way, we don't understand the nature of a woman because we end up trying to beat that woman down. Now, here's the other part about a woman: when she has gone through life and has not had help and has not had assistance, has not had support, then she lacks the ability on how to receive care, tender care and love. And she opens herself up to a way where she wants to understand it. And here's the reality: in a woman's way, every woman wants to be nurtured, but many times she lacks being nurtured because people want to control that nurturing part of her. But the beauty of who she is, man, I feel the glory of God. Lord Jesus, something's happening here. But the beauty is that as you find the inner her, that's the most innocent and purest part of who she is. And that comes in every shape, color, and size.
I agree with that, because sometimes you look at someone for the outer appearance and you think you have this conception about that person. But then when you get to really know that person, especially one-on-one, not for what everybody's told you, because everybody's situation to me is different. If you and Sally Sue have a problem, that's the problem between the two of you, but I can still get along with you because I see a different side of you, have a different appreciation for who you are. I think that's what you're talking about. Am I on the right track?
Yes, very, very much so. In order to have a successful relationship, you must be individual but corporate.
Okay,
all right?
I agree with that.
So you have your individual personality, but at the same time, we operate corporately. So I use this analogy: you want to have a 60-40 relationship. See, many times we desire people to come 100. Well, there's no 100 person. That perfect person don't exist. That person is a figment of your imagination. But the reality is 60-40. So when you have a perfect relationship, you'll find out that 60 plus 40 equals 100. So in my weakest day, you're my strongest. In your weakest day, I'm your strongest. And the balance is, I don't charge you because you're weak. I cover you in your weakness.
Okay. All right, so it's a partnership.
It's a partner. It's a partnership.
And it's an ongoing working relationship and situation that's going on here.
Yes.
And it can get better. It climbs and it falls, but you have to keep working at it to make it work.
Yes.
And you have to understand that one preacher told me, say, when you get married, you got your in-laws and your outlaws. Keep the outlaws out of your marriage. You're related to people, but you're not married to them. So you have to... and the two become one flesh and all that good stuff.
Well, if you give me if you just let me have 1 minute to talk about that. See, sometimes in relationship we create what on textbook we call triangles. Triangles are external things outside the relationship that you use to offset your responsibility of engaging in relationship.
Okay.
So if you and I were in relationship, all right, so a triangle could be work and church. And you use those as excuses to not build relationship between you and I.
Okay.
See, and what happens in those triangles, people, they use triangles with their friends, they use triangles with their family, they use triangles with their children, and the two that are in relationship, they end up failing at relationship because they'll find out over a course of time they have not worked on the relationship. Because they haven't, the time that they spend together, they don't spend that time reinforcing their love with each other. They don't spend that time reinforcing or just learning more about the other individual, because we are evolving people. So how I started out today, I won't be the same person 12 months from now.
Oh, because people say, well, this is not the man that I married. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Hello?
Not before, during, or after. It's not. It's totally different. Yeah, okay.
Hello? No, they're not. But people have a problem with accepting change. And what happens, we become comfortable with the person that we met last year and stop realizing. Now, this is real bad in the church. You'll pray for change, but when change comes, you're not ready for it.
Oh, yeah.
Lord Jesus. Lord
Not only in the church, but in the workplace and in the world and in the community.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, it's so difficult for some people to accept that.
Yes.
And do it.
Definitely.
And sometimes change is for the better.
Changes.
It is.
Frederick Douglass says, without struggle,
Oh, yeah.
yes, Lord, that it's fruitless for change to come. But now, if we fast forward outside of relationship, change in community is always needed.
Oh, yes.
Change in business is always needed, because in order for us to match where technology is and make technology and reality become one, we must embrace change. And if we're not open for change, then we are saying to ourselves that we are comfortable with who we are and what has happened. But we have to move past a has-been reality.
Oh, yes.
We got to.
Yeah.
We have to move past a has-been reality. What happened, it happened. But now it's time for us to do something different.
And it's a building block for progress and to move forward. Because, you get tired of people saying, well, it's always been like that. Well, why? This is a new day and a new time. It's time for it to get better. It's time for a change, like you said.
Yes, it's time for a change. And I believe change comes when we realize change is necessary. And change is not color. If I could say that on this show. Change is not change is not color. Change is the opposite of a current practice. That is change. It's an immediate opposite or immediate misdirection, redirection of what I'm currently doing. So we need change. It's intervention. Change helps. Change is healthy. But we got to be people enough, human enough to say, you know what, change is necessary. I believe when we do that we're moving to healthy lifestyles.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. Dr. Martin Luther King said, the time is always right to do what's right.
Yes, Lord.
And that's a struggle too, because sometimes in our world we're faced with so many challenges, and we're faced with trying to be like someone else or trying to protect something that's wrong, that we forget about what's right. And you'll stick out like a sore thumb when you do what's right. And you'll be challenged and talked about and all of those other negative things when you do what's right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because you have so many people going in the other direction.
Oh yeah. Dietrich Bonhoeffer calls that cheap grace. And when he talks about cheap grace, he says that Jesus has given us grace. So with the grace that has been given, we ought to pay the due for cheap grace, and that is sacrificing our life, and that sacrificing brings us into a place of change. But what happens? The reason we don't want change in the modern day, 2015, is that people don't like pain. They don't like to cry. They don't like pressure. And in order for us to have ultimate change in our community, in our lives, and even in our relationship, we have to be ready to endure the hardship, endure the pain, endure the persecution. Because, oh Lord, that's where the glory of God is right there. Because when you endure hardship as a good soldier, we become exemplary factors and fashions in this world that look just like Jesus. So in my relationship, it may be hard, but I don't have to give up on it, because the change that's needed is going to come by proxy of this pressure that we're undergoing.
And the hard work makes it all the more better. It strengthens the relationship. It's sort of like when you say going through pain. Well, it's not painful. It's Lent season right now, and I gave up sweets. And it's really tough, even though you can eat fruit, and fruit has the sweetness in it, but it's nothing like a Snickers bar. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
So that pain has really helped me to do without the pain of not having the sweets, because I think I'm losing a little weight here because I'm not eating the sweets like I normally would, and it'll be over soon. Easter will be here. April 5th?
Yes, it's coming.
The 3rd is Good Friday.
Yes, it is.
So it's coming, but it has taught me, too, that I can do without. It's not difficult to change.
Yes.
The change has caused something good to happen. The weight is going down.
Right.
And I'm feeling a little better. So, it's a guidance into a better situation.
Understandable. Definitely. And that is the basis of where this work comes from, because people have become so accustomed to having image-ready relationships rather than ethical and morally sound.
Now you're
relationships.
preaching. Now you're preaching.
They want the image-ready relationship. But yes, every picture is worth 1,000 words, and every woman smiling is not happy, and every man that has a smile is not satisfied, and behind that picture lies all of these issues. So that's where we talk about navigating from a broken place, because it's through the brokenness where we understand how the various things that we need. It's through brokenness that we get clarity on our desires. See, when you look at relationship, Lady J, people come to relationship with their precepts. And those precepts may be made up and unrealistic.
That's right.
Because when you're looking at the reality of relationship and love, and the basis is that I am a human being. And once you engage in relationship, the desire should be that there's so much love on the inside of me that now I want to share this love with someone else. See, you don't need someone to make you happy. If you're looking for someone to make you happy, then many times you'll find yourself sad. Because people don't make us happy.
No, they don't.
No, Lord.
The human factor. They
The human factor.
they really don't.
Oh my God. Woo. If you haven't lived long enough, trust me, they will get on your nerve at some point. That's just humanistically though.
Right.
But love says that I will not allow the irritants to cause me to forfeit what I've committed to.
Commitment. That's the big word there.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't have a lot of patience for. But in the end, it's so great when you have that commitment, because there's nothing out there. You know, my mom used to say, if you go out and stay out past 12 o'clock, there's nothing out there. It's nothing but trouble. And, you know, but I wanted to go because everybody else was, but I'm glad she didn't, because there were so many bad things that were out there that people around me experienced. But she protected me and told me no, that I couldn't. And even now today, you know, the world is so violent. I really feel for the children of today, because they're missing so much. They can't go outside and play like they want to. They can't do so many things. The parents are not committed. Some of them are not. I'm sorry, it's the truth.
Right.
They're not really committed to raising their children. They're committed to being friends with the children, allowing them to do whatever. Grades are secondary, but you know, they want to make sure they have all the electronic devices first. Parents, please visit the schools. Please be committed to visit the schools on a regular basis before the progress reports come out. Because you know, now you can go into the system and you can check periodically yourself and not wait for that bad grade or good grade to come home.
That's true.
We have to be more committed.
Yes.
We have to do our part. You
Yes.
can't blame all teachers for everything that happens. We have to if we can go and support a basketball game, if we can go and support Parents' Day or Grandparents' Day, then we should be able to make scheduled visits to be committed to our children.
In that commitment, if I can echo you, the church, I raise a challenge to the community and the church, because the church used to be a pillar of the community. The school itself also was a pillar of the community. And family, church, and school would reinforce values within children.
Oh, yes.
So the commitment that I raise, or the challenge that I raise to the community at large, is that can we have a coming together to where we can commit to the life of children? Because the family circle has been broken, but the church is lacking its responsibility in playing the role that it needs to play. We need more than GED programs. There are some children that are fatherless and that are motherless, and the church has some role to help counteract the state having full responsibility of children that have no one to lean or depend on. Can we have a commitment to go to the school? And not just offer after school programs, but can we assess those children that are doing poorly and take a responsibility and be responsible and say that, you know what, we believe in the koinonia of God, the community of God, and say, you know what, we're going to open up our door and we're going to offer one reading day a week. You know, can we raise the commitment to do some parenting programs? parents don't know how to parent. They're having children, but they don't understand parenting. And I agree, and I echo with you. No, you can't give a child everything that he or she wants and expect them to grow.
That's right.
Now, here's the other thing about parenting. Every child desires structure, so don't think that the structure is making them bad.
Say no. Say no.
Man, Lord have mercy. I remember in 85, 82, 85, 80, somewhere in between 82 and 85, the Just Say No campaign. See, they stopped that campaign in these latter years. There used to be a season where they helped children with peer pressure. They would tell children, just say no, just say no. That means you have your own identity. You have the right to say no. You can be who you are. But now, we're saying it's okay to be free. No, it's not okay to be free. It's okay for you to have responsibility and take responsibility for your own actions.
That's right.
It's not okay for you to say everything that you want to say.
That's
it's not okay for you to go everywhere where you want to go.
That's
in
right.
order for our children,
and wear what you want to wear. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not cute. Let's buy the clothes that fit the children. Not, the bodies are larger, some of them, smaller, but whatever size they are, make sure that their clothes fit and they're appropriate for school and they're not showing too much.
I talk to my son and his friends, and we talk about stereotyping. And their argument to me is, well, Pastor Dad Rowe, I don't understand why I just can't wear what I want to wear and everybody accept it. I said, until you understand the divisions of this world and the communities of this world, then you won't understand what I'm saying. I said, so I give them an analogy like this. I said, let's say you came to court and I was your judge. I said, how would you feel if I was in some Bermuda shorts, a tank top tee, a sun visor, some shades, and some sandals? And I'm saying, now court is in session. I said, now you're telling me that I shouldn't stereotype you. I should just receive what you're saying. I said, but now how would you feel? They said, well, I would want to have court because I feel like you're not dressed appropriate. I said, so now let me ask you the question. How do you want me to receive that you're respectful and that you are responsible when you carry yourself irresponsibly?
Tonight we have spoken with Roosevelt Etheridge, and you'll have his contact information at the end. He is motivational, he is exciting, he's enlightening, he cares about everybody. He's a father to his son's friends and any young people that he comes across. He's one in a million. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
On Lady J's Montage.